welcome back.
Our favorite countdown. So, hey, what's up, Dex? Been a long time no see, bro.
It has been a long time, too long, Ralph. How are you?
Yeah, exactly, man. And to our loyal followers out there, good to see you again. We're glad to be back. It's been a while, yes, but life happens, and it certainly happened to Dexter and me. And it took us away from all this, but we're back. So, like it or not, here we are.
Yeah, man. It's been a minute, and you kind of reflect on that. When we were talking the other day, right? We said to ourselves, "Wow, we haven't done this in a while," and life did get in the way, right? As it always does with everyone, right? You kind of have to, prioritize certain things. But I'm glad we're back. And I'm glad that we're talking on air, right? Because we're always talking, just not always on air.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
but I'm glad that we're getting an opportunity to talk again on air today. And, as usual, we never have a script. It's just the two of us kind of just, sharing our thoughts on any given day, about, the way that we talk, we jump from subject to subject, but,
Yep.
hey, Ralph, hey, what do you want to talk about? How do you want to kick it off, brother?
Well, again, if you don't mind reintroducing ourselves, my name is Raphael. The gentleman over here on the side of me is Dexter. We are two Puerto Ricanos from New York City, long time friends. And for those of you who are really interested in a sort of like an origin story, there's other episodes that you can look back on. I don't want to rehash the whole thing, but we're just basically, like the title says, we're just two friends talking, and we can literally talk about nothing for hours.
Or everything.
Or everything. Exactly. It doesn't really matter.
Right.
So, welcome back, everybody. And so if you don't mind, I'll start in telling everybody what's been up with me. So, since the last time we talked, I have changed companies. I've got new employer, and I am a construction inspector, and I'm also a sort of a quasi investor. And so, I'm a construction inspector slash office engineer. I manage a construction office. That's boring. I'm already bored with this part of the conversation. Let's skip to you. What have you up to?
So, what have I been doing since I got back? So, I think when we were doing it, had just retired, right? And then we had done a few episodes. I was working for a telecom company for many, many years. And now I'm actually in the weed business. And everybody, when I say that, I say people just like their eyes open up. Like, weed business? Yes, on the wholesale side of the house, people, not the black market. So it's kind of like, I actually am responsible for selling cannabis to retail dispensaries, which are licensed by the state, right? So we're only able to sell to that and to medical dispensaries as well. So that's been a lot of fun learning that industry, and getting to talk to these owners and getting into that whole industry whatsoever. I mean, it's one of the most peaceful industries, that I've ever been in, to be honest with you. When you talk about industries that are about joy and love, I mean, that's what it's really, there's not a whole, I mean,
Cannabis will do that.
yeah, cannabis will do that. Even in the, behind the scenes in the corporate world, it's just not that cutthroat. And I've seen cutthroat in the corporate world. What has happened since, my kids have both graduated college. My daughter's in real estate right now, working for like a little medium-sized company. Happy about that. My son's a teacher up in the BX, the Bronx. For those of you that don't understand that BX mentality, but he's there teaching special needs. So I'm really proud of him.
Good for him. Good for
Yeah,
him. And her.
yeah. And so, yeah, man. And then we've had to endure these last few months. There's a lot going on. A lot going on.
Yeah, I'll bet.
you know. And I guess that's as good a segue as any to start talking about something, right? I mean, let's just go at it. Like, what do you want to talk about? What's on your mind, Ralph?
Well, I mean, I guess Not really a whole lot has changed since the last episode, but there's a whole new audience out there. So, I guess welcome to my office. I'm still out of my walk-in closet. And for anybody that's thinking about the old get out of the closet, come out of the closet joke, stop. I've heard it before. Stop.
It's gonna come anyway, brother. So you might as
Yeah,
well.
I know, I
Just,
know, I
just,
know.
just grin and bear it.
So again, life is coming at me fast and furious at my new job. I work for the New York State Department of Transportation, and that's a whole different monster from the New Jersey Department of Transportation. I'm a consultant, which means that they get to abuse me however they want to, and they do.
And they don't
Um,
have to buy you dinner.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's life keeps coming and it keeps coming and keeps coming, and it's. I mean, I got no complaints. Honestly, I've got no complaints. I'm one of those guys that I'm really, really fortunate to be in the position that I'm in, and I think you can probably say the same thing. I wouldn't change anything that I've done, and because it's brought me to this point in my life, and I'm pretty happy with where I'm at in life right now. I could don't get me wrong, I'll take a pay raise, but I'm pretty happy with everything right now.
Yeah, I would say that I'm at that point, right? Like you're always chasing that, right, in your
Yeah,
life, right? That balance, right? Am I good financially? Am I good health
yeah.
wise? Am I good emotionally? Right? How's my family? Um, you always ask yourself these questions, and it's funny. You and I talk all the time about how when you think as you get older that your responsibilities end, right? Like you're kind of like what's the way to say fading into retirement? That's not
Nope.
true. It seems like it's getting busier the
Yeah,
older we get, right?
if you're rich, that's great, but we're not. You know what I mean? So we have
We're
to
not.
keep working,
You got to
and we
keep
have to
working.
keep hustling, and but it's all good. Again, I got no complaints. You brought up, the older we get, and sometimes something I didn't tell the audience, and I guess I'm getting ready to tell them now, is that since we last spoke, I've had a pretty sad event. My mom passed away. She got pretty sick over the holidays, and in February she passed away. So that was a bit of a trying time, but I got through it. My sister and I and family, we sort of reconnected. And so, but, you know, here we are. You know what I mean? And at least her suffering is over and we're moving on with life. You know what I mean? I miss her dearly. Who won't miss their
Oh,
parents?
sure, of
Yeah, but,
course. Yeah.
but, yeah, so that's something that has occurred to me that,
Yeah, that's part of and it's sad, right? Because it's part of the aging process. As we get older, the people around us get older, obviously, right? And sick and pass away.
yeah,
As you get older, your social circle of friends
yeah,
diminishes because everyone's basically dying off.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like you don't want to, and that's why Ralph and I, we don't always have the best of timing because there's so much going on in our lives, but we always try to stay in touch because we know that, right?
yeah,
As you get older, your level, your friends, your connections aren't the same as they were when 20 years
right.
ago. Your thought process is very different than it was 20, 30, 40 years ago, right? You're not
Right.
thinking the same as you were when you were 20. When you're 20, you have your life in front of you. When you're
Yeah,
64, right? Not so much. So you start thinking differently, right? Your priorities come into play. It's like, what's
sure.
important to me? This is like, and honestly, you know what I found, Ralph, as I get older? I'm always very generous with my family and no, not just financially, just with my time and
I
emotion,
get it.
right? But it's kind of like, it's funny. I also find myself wanting to be more selfish for the things that I need as I get
Of
older because
course.
I feel like I've spent my whole life,
Yeah.
right, doing for
Yep. The
others,
clock is ticking.
right, right, doing for others. So you kind of like, you're in that space. Where you're like, you know what? I'm not. Nah.
Right.
Nope.
I get it. I get it. There was a time when I was so. I capitulated on a lot of things. I give and I took and blah 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 blah. But now I'm like, no, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I want. If you want to tag along, great. And if not, great. Either way, if I want to eat that donut, I'm going to eat it. If I
I'm gonna
want
eat
to
that.
go to Puerto Rico, I'm going to go. You know what I mean? There's no negotiating anymore. This is, but yeah, I definitely want to keep everybody close to me, and I'm still generous like you are. But yeah, I understand your point. Right now, we have to sort of keep ourselves also in the mix. It's not just about others. It's we have to,
Ourselves, yeah,
yeah, you have to take
yeah.
care of ourselves.
I mean, look, we're talking about each other like we're doddering old fools, right? And we're not. But at the same time, we do have to think about that, right?
Yeah,
We got to think about that. We got to think about, well, what do the next 10 years look like, right? What do the next 20 years look like, right? And, you're hoping that you're alive in the next 20 years,
yeah,
right? So it's kind of like, those things change, man. It affects everything that you do, all your outlooks, everything, family, job,
you know,
relationship, everything.
absolutely, man. Again, there's no time for BS anymore. For me, there's just no time for BS. It's just kind
Yeah,
of like I want to be with everybody, and I want everybody to be happy, and I want me to be happy too. And if we can coexist, great. And if not, okay, great. But I'm still, yeah, I heard this saying and I've repeated it a few times and I believe it. And the saying is it goes something along the lines of this. It goes, you don't find happiness. You choose it by ignoring the things that make you unhappy.
right.
So, and the same thing can be said about, I guess, well, really anything else really. But in this case, we're talking about, yeah, happiness. Again, you don't really find it. You choose it by finding what it is or looking at what it is that makes you unhappy and avoiding it, giving energy to the things that you like and avoiding things that you don't like. And that, I think, the end result is happiness. I, that's just the way I see it. And it works for me, by the way.
And yeah, I agree with that. I mean, people often complain, look, I can't have it all. I can't have this. I can't have that. I can have it, but I can have it at different times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think you can have it all. But I think what happens is that you can have it all. It depends on what your standards are, right? When
Oh,
it comes
yeah.
to certain things, but you can have it all. And but the one thing that I realized, and not to go off on a crazy tangent as we always do, but it's kind of true.
Age now.
The one thing that you get older that you never lose sight of, right, is your self-respect.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that you fight you'll find for the younger audience out there, man, your whole life, you're going to find yourself fighting for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, these are my boundaries that I'm going to establish in my life, right? And to your point, right, you either come along or you don't. I mean, I'm not saying that you need to be a complete jerk
Right.
in your life by any
Right.
means, but to get to this point in our lives, to get to this age, the way you do that is by setting boundaries with people around you, because people around you, you can either accept them or not, but the relationships around you are usually the most draining, right, when it comes to
Oh, God. Yes. We won't get
it's
into
not the
your situation.
job. Like in my situation.
Whew. And mine.
Oh my God, it's just
Oh, God.
guys, it's just really situations don't change as you get older, man.
Right. No.
Like
No.
I've been in a relationship for 4 years now, 5 years now. We've been still trying to figure that out. Here's the one thing that comes into play that I kind of like really, really hate. And I always have to remind myself of that. Your ego, right?
Oh.
Your ego plays such a role in your relationships. It can
Mm-hmm.
either get in the way or it can help you. But you know, if I feel even this much that I'm being taken for granted, man, I just shut down, and I'm like, no, I'm
Yeah.
not handling that. I've done that enough in my lifetime. I'm not doing that
Mm-hmm.
anymore, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like I'm involved with someone who's usually had things, her way. Great heart, um, great, great mother, great sister, really a fantastic person, but she's got this, you know, she's got this self entitled side that kind of has to, transition into something
Good
else.
luck with that.
if it's gonna be, if it's gonna be, it's kind of good luck with that, right? Men are, what? How does it go? What's the book again? The
Oh, is it men are from
Men Are
Mars and
from
women are from
Mars, Women Are
Venus?
from Venus, something like
Something
that.
like that. I think it is. And
It
by the way, that's so true.
is so true. The eternal understanding of women or men, right? It doesn't change, right? It
Yeah.
just never change. It's like it's always like, what are you thinking? I'm expected to read your mind. I'm expected to know things are going on. You
Hmm.
open your mouth. You don't necessarily understand what you're saying, but it's insulting and disrespectful. It's like it just, you have to be so mindful about how you're talking to someone.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know,
Exactly. This isn't. I mean, you and me, we can discuss anything in any way, shape, or form, and we're not offended. But
no,
boy, I mean, and it's the same thing I can say about me and my relationship. I have to be very careful of how I say some things. I can still mean it, but it's just how I say it. And, she'll take it a little bit too seriously. And then I find myself, activating my shields because,
you're like, wait, whoa, whoa.
so yeah, so that's life. That's I think. And by the way, the same thing goes for women. I mean, they have the exact same opinion, I think, of men because we're looking at it from our perspective. They're looking
Of
at it from their
course.
perspective.
Of course.
We're just as different or odd to them as they are to us. It's just a matter of finding, I think, that coexistence, that middle ground. I think when you find that middle ground, life can be sweet.
I was called baffling this morning. She called me You know what, Dexter? You are baffling to me. And I'm like, wow, first of all, I haven't heard that word.
Congratulations on that word.
To describe me in a while, baffling. And I'm like, why am I baffling? Because, why? Because I didn't like what you said. Am I baffling? Like that's the other thing too, because everything hits everybody differently, right? You
Yeah,
say one
yeah,
thing out of turn, they may take it the wrong way. They may not intend it that way, but it came across that way. It's just
yeah,
communication, people. Communication. We're working on that.
yeah.
So
Hmm.
just to make a long story short and shift subjects really quickly, because I hate talking about my personal life.
Yeah, yep,
Because it's like it's kind of like a well, you know what? Maybe not. It's kind of like a little therapy to say it, right? To say how to say
yeah.
it out loud.
Why
Yeah, it's
not?
kind of like I think we are trying to figure out at this age in our lives what's important to us in terms of each other,
Yep.
and we still run into moments where our guards are up, right? Because it's a lifetime of relationships
Hmm.
and a lifetime of behavior and a lifetime of insecurity and a lifetime of whatever's going on with you or has gone on with you. And it takes time, man, to overcome all that, and especially when you've been
Yep.
you know burned in the past, and there's a lot of things. But the good news is that we are at least trying on any given day. But who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows? Who knows?
Exactly. I think we learn, you and I, individually, independently, have come to the understanding that in all of this, we need to have some space, some privacy. Not just you and me independently, but our ladies as well. They need their,
Sure.
you know what I mean? It's just kind of like when life gets on them or on us, sometimes just retiring to a little area and recouping. You know what I mean? That's very important to be able to just,
Let it
again,
go.
just put up that bubble around us and just decompressing. And it's difficult when there's somebody constantly around us, constantly talking, constantly seeking attention, constantly. But you know what I mean? It's just kind of like
Yeah.
Yeah, we both found that out the hard way, I think.
Yeah, yeah, we
So
did.
yeah,
But yeah, but
so
that's what's going on. We just went off on a completely different tangent, and
oh
we
yeah.
decided to
Well,
talk
welcome
about
to the new viewers. Welcome to our world. Again, there
welcome
is
to our
no
world.
talking points here. We're
We
going to be
just
start
went
talking
off.
about Bugs Bunny in a minute.
Yeah, I know. We just started talking about that, and it's just kind of weird. It's just kind of weird, man. How we just kind of like the things that affect you when you're younger are still the things that are affecting you
Yeah,
when you're older, right? Because
yeah,
you're not born like this. You still have to go through life. Your experience teaches you how to deal with things a lot better,
yep.
than you did. But
Oh
they
yeah,
still affect you, right?
hmm
You just learn
yeah.
how to
Experience is
balance
our
that.
best teacher.
Yeah.
Experience,
Yeah. You
and
realize that
so
when relationships go awry, it doesn't mean the end, right? It just,
right.
right?
Sometimes it does, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it must. I
Right.
think it's just a matter of you hit on something I think very important a little bit ago, which was the ego. And that is, to me, there's two things. There are two emotions that can really affect anybody and profoundly. Two things. And the two different feelings, the two different emotions in the same location. The first one is pride, which is the ego.
The ego.
Pride and fear. Those two things will carry you to the exact same destination because both of those emotions will keep you from seeking help. And sometimes, if you want to salvage a relationship, you do need that help, whether it's um, the help from that other person, their viewpoint, or from a therapist or a counselor, whatever the case may be. Pride will keep you from accepting that help because it's like, well, I don't need that help. I don't need your help. I don't need you in my life. You know what I mean? And that's very destructive. And the other one is fear. I'm not going to say anything because I don't know what you're going to think about me or how I'm going to come across. Both of those emotions will guide you to the same destruction. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. I agree. So, though that's when your experience has to take over and you have to decide. And if you don't have any, right, that's what you spend a whole lifetime building it. But it's like your experience at this point in your life teaches you, okay, I'm not going to lose my mind. I'm not going to get crazy. I'm just going to deal with it as it comes. Um, you know, and and the other thing you also have to realize is that that pride and ego can't always be the controlling factor, right? You
No.
can't. I can't look at her and say, "Oh, she's just being a woman," right? You have to think about
Hmm.
the things that are going on with her too, right?
That's
Like
right. Yeah, it's a give and take.
it is give and take. Some of her points are extremely legitimate, some are not.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And she says exactly the same thing about you.
she said exactly the same thing about me, right? So that's where it has not been the easiest of relationships. It's been, but I also realize there's a lot of love there. But I also think there's a lot of obstacles there, and you got to work through that. And you got
Yeah,
to decide is this. You got to decide what's worth. Is it worth? Yeah, at any given day, who knows? 'Cause,
right. And thank God we're talking about the same culture. Because if
yeah.
you've got two different cultures involved, oh Lord have mercy. Now it's not just men are from Mars and women are from Venus. It's just not that anymore. Now there are definitions. One word will mean something completely different in one culture to another,
Oh,
or inflections or terms. So yeah, thank God we're talking about the same culture because I got into a relationship previously that boy, you know what I mean? I thought that I was being very clear on some things and I wasn't simply because the cultures we grew up differently. And so a thought or a saying as an example to Hispanics might mean somebody completely different to somebody who's Indian or Swedish. You know what I mean? It's again, when you cross cultures, and I'm not I'm not one of those guys that says stick to your own kind. No, I'm just saying you better learn different cultures. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, it plays a huge role. It certainly does, right? Especially
Yeah.
when you have cross cultural relationships. It
Yeah,
does
man.
play a huge role. You got to have an understanding of that. And again, another thing you learn as you get older, I may be whining.